All right, let's speak now to political analyst Klaus Jurgens. He joins me now live from Innsbruck in Austria. Klaus, good to have you on the show. It's been a while, but it's always a pleasure having you on. I know you were watching with our viewers. We played that timeline of the events that unfolded on July the 15th. I want to start with your recollection of what happened 5 years ago. At the time, did you know what exactly was at stake?
No, not at all. When I first heard the first information that the Bosporus Bridge was actually blocked by tanks, and I was in Aden at the time, I could not believe it. My first impression was, has Al-Qaeda struck? Are fighter jets coming from different countries? Is Turkey under siege? No one had expected that heinous criminal terrorists under the disguise of bringing democracy would attack Turkey. This was my first reaction. I did not have internet where I was staying at the time. On my mobile phone, walked down as quickly as I could to a public coffee place, and all the TVs were on. Everyone was watching, and everyone couldn't believe it until that very second when President Erdogan took to FaceTime via his iPhone and said, let's go out. And then the people applauded and just said, it must be over. It will be over. Turkey is too strong. But no one still knew exactly what had happened. And this was still before we learned about what went on in Marmaris, what happened then with the parliament in Ankara. Shocking.
Let me ask you, I mean, despite a determined effort by the Turkish leadership in the last 5 years to explain to the international community who FETÖ is, what type of danger they pose, do you think that the West has really understood the message that's been trying to give out by Turkish leaders?
No, sometimes I say deliberately not understanding, sometimes just say negligence. In the preparation for today, I said, maybe cynically, sarcastically, but I fully subscribe to it. FETÖ is no Turkish pensioners' tea drinking club. It is a terror group and a terror network. And unfortunately, terrorism doesn't know any borders. Luckily, democracy doesn't know either. But Europe has not understood a single thing of those people they are harboring amidst themselves. Sorry, when I very briefly look away from the camera for the research today, only in 2017 it was supposed to say, according to Deutschlandfunk, 100,000 supporters of Gülen are happily living in Germany. They always did, not only after the coup. There are 300 Dernek and associations, at least 24 big private schools, 160 Dershane Nachhilfe, extra learning establishments, foundations, and another trick many people would not even know, that they run, same like in Turkey, the so-called lighthouse places where young people and students find a place to live. But since these are private houses, they are not registered by the state. No one knows how many are there in total. The parents pay for it up to 50% of their salary, some people say. It is a network which is regrouping, hopefully, the authorities in Germany, in Switzerland. In Switzerland alone in 2009, people complained that already then just half a dozen of Gülen schools existed. And that time he was saying, according to a quote from the Neue Zürcher Zeitung, we are an Islamic educational movement and our Islam is open to the world. Nothing is more distant from the truth.
Klaus, tell me this. I want your analysis on this. I mean, what do you think is the reason behind this, as you say, purposeful negligence? And what benefit does this provide Western countries in terms of harboring and providing asylum to not only thousands, but perhaps tens of thousands of members of this organization?
Let us quickly go back to the night. The night was shocking. And of course, I must, I have at least this short time, I must pay my due respect to the 251 martyrs and almost 2,200 people, sometimes heavily injured. We have to pay respect to them. They will never be forgotten. And even me as a non-Turkish national can say this in honesty. It was a night to remember these are heroes and they saved the country, modern Turkey. Now, on the night, CNN, not CNN Turk, but CNN USA, a professor gave a comment. There is a putsch ongoing in Turkey. And is this not good news? because these putschists bring back democracy, because Erdogan has taken away democracy, step by step dismantled democracy in Turkey. Now, I wrote an article, I said, if you have those friends, who needs enemies? This is exactly the mindset in 2016. The West had thought that Turkish democracy somehow has its flaws, its mistakes, it's moving away from the West. Turkey was never moving away from the West. The West moved away from Turkey. Brussels moved away from Turkey. And this is the beginning, let's say 2011, 12, 13, and we have to mention the Gezi Park protests. I said one time, again, very cynically, but I'm very outspoken about this. You know, I hope I'm not cut off air. I said when the Gezi Park protests happened, some people in American and European media were only waiting that the Turkish government would be toppled, because then they would have another sensationalist story, as if there was no democracy in Turkey. In Turkey, there was and there is democracy, and even better since 2016. How can the West understand this? Lobby, 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 talk, talk, talk. These programs, like you, of course, not with me, but your esteemed colleagues, they must be watched. They must be shown in European media. It's a fight against brick walls, mental brick walls. But we should not give up. Definitely not on a day like this. But what is, last point if I have, what is the advantage of the German, the Austrian and European and American governments and other countries harboring people? They know their intelligence. They must know what happened in Turkey. I have no clue. Honestly, I would not understand it from an intelligence perspective. It is not possible that, you said hundreds, thousands, maybe many thousands, come to my own country, if I would say so, settle, live there happily, but intelligence would know about links to a non-democratic, at best, outright terror movement as we know by now. I'm lost for words.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Klaus, as you say, Turkey left alone in many respects. Always good to see you. Appreciate your analysis. Thanks for coming on this special edition of the NewsHour.